got Mike, we got Steve, and that's really all you need. Well, I would hope that's all you need. I know some of you were hoping to see Brian back or literally anybody else, but too bad. You're stuck with the two of us. Mike, we are at Tuesday already, and you had quite the trip. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to the last couple of days?
Oh, yeah. So I went to Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
Nolans.
New Orleans, and this is something that you don't. Here is something you don't understand, as Cypress Hill used to say, um, is that the heat there, so like 85 degrees and humid there, is a lot different than 85 degrees and humid here. It's fucking hot, dude. There's no shade there. What I can say for the festival is that they have their lineups. They are phenomenal. Every single day, there's 10 different stages, a bunch of different like styles of music. If you want to go see jazz, you go see jazz. If you want to go see blues, you can see blues. There's funk, there's gospel, like everything that it basically is based in jazz music, including hard rock, and even some of the Louisiana sounds. They had like a Fey Dodo stage, which is basically it was all like Creole and Cajun music, and what a fun time, man. The beers weren't that expensive, believe it or not. But I got to see Pearl Jam. I got to see My Morning Jacket. I got to see um, three of the four members of the Meters. With their solo bands. It was just, I mean, it was an amazing time. It was an amazing time, and I want to thank my best friend, James. He's been my best friend for 30, what is it, 35 years now? I don't know. Freshman in high school, 8th grade. So yeah, for having me down there. Him and his wife treated my wife and I very well. Had some good food. It was all around a good time.
Did you leave the kids down there or what?
No, the kids stayed up here with my mom, man. My mom came up, took the kids to the places they needed to be, and that's all she really needed to do. That's all my kids require now. It's just
They're pretty self-sufficient these days, huh?
yeah, it's pretty nice. Lucas got to play in his first game this spring. They lost 3-2. And from what I could tell, the grass was really tall, which it always is in that area of the state, on that field that they play on.
I didn't have any issues with grass in the game that I refed last night. I'll tell you that much. It was
Where were
it
you?
was a solid day. Solid
Were
day.
you were at the tree farm?
No, I was at Callahan in Burlington.
Okay.
Yeah, for a Burlington clash. Two local clubs going right at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun. It was a
Good.
good time. I think my favorite though was when I was leaving the game. I had one of the kids from the losing team and his dad were walking behind me, and I just kept listening to this kid bitch and moan. The ref called me offside, so my goal didn't count. Yeah, you and half the fucking team were offside, my dude. Like, I'm sorry. That's just like when I can see it on the opposite end of the field, it's that obvious. Um, the other, oh, he called a handball on us, but he didn't call a handball on the other team. Handball with your arm extended versus your hand is in a natural position in the profile of your body. Learn the fucking rules, kid. Maybe if
The
you're
kid
two,
doesn't know the rules. He's probably 10 years old.
no, but they had a referee mentor
Yeah.
watching me, and I mean, he said I did a great job, and I take his opinion much higher than that of a 12-year-old kid who just lost badly. I think it was like 5-0 at halftime. So
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Burlington Football Club is a win at all costs, stomp on their throats. They're like the new kid in town as far as the clubs go, all the clubs in the town go, but they are definitely the Cobra Kai.
which is funny because all the kid that team was the only team who came and said thank you to the ref, and they wanted
Yeah,
to
because they make
win and
them.
everything. Yeah, hey, if that's what they want to do, then all the more to it. But
Yep. Yep.
I really didn't have much to call. I mean, a couple of offsides. There were no fouls at all. They were like afraid to put a foot in. It was kind of funny.
Are you using? Yeah, they don't really do that at that age. Are you using? Are you using a straight up like regular whistle? Or you using one of those little button whistle thingies?
Oh, I've got a regular whistle.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right.
But yeah, I get to do 14-year-olds on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think we just found out you're going to be reffing. You're going to be reffing my son.
Assistant reffing. So just
Assistant reffing my son.
Won't have a problem.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be a sideline ref.
Yep. I get my flag.
It's gonna be pretty spirited. It's his club versus the younger group of kids who play up. That younger group of kids is really really good. They are arguably as good as or better than my son's team on a given day. They don't defend well, but I mean that'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one for you.
Yeah, anytime I get to be at the ground of our Vermont Green Virtue Field is a good time for me.
That's where Lucas is tonight.
Nice. And yet tonight we are here, and I suppose we should talk about a different kind of team, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We had
Do we have to?
I guess. I mean, it's kind of the point, right? That's why people come here, I think. I don't know. Nobody's told me. We managed to get our first round win in the semifinals of the Europa League. It wasn't as convincing as I would have liked. And then we followed that off with a kind of a snooze fest of a draw at Wet Spam.
What time is it?
Whoa, hey, we just lost control.
We've already done that part. Oh God. Yeah, so let's go with the Europa, because that's coming up soon, and might as well talk about it. What did you make of that game? 3-1 victory at home. Was it what you wanted to see? Did anything kind of go according to plan?
I mean, I don't know. Early on, yeah, sure. We took the immediate lead. Brennan Johnson scoring the opening minute, kind of set. Well, I thought it was going to set the tone for the match. I was actually not watching it live at that point because I was enjoying some live music at the time. And I walked by some dude. I was wearing my Spurs shirt, of course, and I walked by some dude who, screamed, "Come on, you Spurs!" at me, and then pointed at, said 1-0 already, and I went, "God damn it!" I was trying not to look at the scores. So yeah, I got to see most of the match during the set breaks between the two bands, which was great. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was fine. Bodo did what they were gonna do, what they could do with the six guys out. Half their back line was injured. I think in the second half, like after the equalizer, we just kind of took hold of the game and kind of closed it down. Solanke with the penalty. It's always weird for me. Like, what is this? This team doesn't have like a set penalty taker.
Yeah, that was odd. There was a moment where I thought Madison was actually going to try to take it, and slate. Okay, so we've had Tell, we've had Solanke, now we're gonna have Madison, and we've had Sun in the past. Like,
Well,
isn't there?
I figured if anybody, it was going to be Tell because he's always trying to take the ball from somebody on those
Hey,
penalties.
not for nothing. I mean,
Tell doesn't miss, but
the kid, he kind of deserves it a lot of the time. Just based on his work ethic and performance. But I'm glad it was Solanke that took it, and that was a cheeky fucking penalty too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, then Decky added the third one to make it, to give us a nice little buffer going into the away trip. We kind of like tried to emphasize a little bit of that old Ange ball that we kind of we pressed a little nicer against a little different. I guess it was a little different. Our pressing was a little different against Bodo than it was against Wet Spam. But the thing that kind of disrupted Spurs, and stopped them from scoring 4, 5, 6 goals was the fact that they're super. Bodo's really they're. I think we talked about it last week. They're organized, right? And they attack, and they're just waves of attack. But they just couldn't, with the people that they had on the field, the players they had on the field, they just couldn't adapt to that Spurs brought. For the most part, Spurs were just kind of passing around them and through them, and it was kind of like this might be the clock striking 12 on this pumpkin shaped carriage. Who knows? I guess that we kind of expected it. This was more for me like the league phase of that type of a match. And Bodo has just been doing their due diligence in every match and shutting the other teams down, getting their scoring, getting their points where they can, and that's on their home field too. Like, so we'll talk about that later, but I think that Solanke super composed. He was great. Brennan was great, I think, and Brennan just did what he always does. I think that this match just kind of highlights where kind of Spurs are right now. Like, we're putting our best team out there because we don't have anything to stand on in our little league. So we're putting our best team out there in Europa, and we're able to rotate on the weekend in order to prioritize Europa. And who knows, this might lead to something big for Ange too. Should he be able to pull off this next leg here and see what happens on Thursday? But I like that dude, that Ulrich dude, that what's his name? Saltness.
I'll take your word for it. Cause
yeah, man, his runs were super nice, like super timely. They were quick. He's sitting right back on the shoulder. Like, he was making some, like, I don't know if you watch any of the way Barcelona plays this year, but like their attacking was similar to that, kind of a higher line. They use everybody on the field to attack. Kind of like what Spurs were in those first 10 matches when people, didn't understand what Ange ball was before they kind of figured it out. I think that Bodo's a fun team to watch, and I think that they're going to get better and better. They're going to be able to attract some big players, but at the same time, because of the league they're in, they're going to lose some big players. So we'll see what happens. They get to travel to the Arctic Circle. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, last week? It looks like a really nice place. I kind of wish I could go and check it out. We'll talk more about what's coming up a bit later. I will say, for the Europa match, I was disappointed that we conceded towards the end there. I just felt like that should have been, 3-0, 4-0, just make it nice and comfortable. But of course, being Spurs, they just had to give them some glimmer of hope, some way back into it. I still think it's going to be really tough for them, to come away with it, but it's also Spurs, and I just don't really have a lot of faith in them right now, particularly given our injuries. No fucking creativity for the rest of the season. Madison's probably out for the rest of it. Bergvall's out. I mean, I love Decky, but he's not exactly like the most creative person.
Well, at times Decky. So this team was like, and it happened against West Ham too. Like they weren't doing the things that these players weren't doing the things that they normally do. Decky is hard typically to take the ball off of, right?
Yeah.
He was like kind of both those matches, like was kind of big and lumbering and kind of he wasn't moving well.
Yeah.
He didn't have good control of the ball at all times. Like you figure, Decky's going to at least give you one or two shots at scoring some goals. Like he's not super creative, but like he can be. He can draw defenders, So if he's not playing out wide, then obviously he's probably going to be stuck there at number 10. I don't know who else we're going to put there.
There really isn't. I mean, unless he wants to take a gamble on, one of the younger guys from the academy, which I highly doubt is going to happen. It also, I think, depends on whether or not we get Mikey Moore, or not Mikey Moore, Son back in time. That could be an interesting option. Maybe throw Tell more centrally. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But
we're gonna get Bentancur, Bissouma,
and Sarr. That'll be our midfield.
Or Sarr, yeah.
And I'll cry. Bentancur, Bissouma, and Son to try to get us into the final. That doesn't make me feel good. You know what else doesn't make me feel good, Mike? That wet span game. I mean, if I didn't know any better, it's like we were watching the 16th and 17th place teams in the Premier League.
Oh, we were, Steve. We were, believe it or not.
That's right. We were. They were terrible. Both teams. They were just not good.
Listen, I would have thought, Jesus, this is a kind of a depressing podcast. I would have thought that like West Ham would have like at least trying to get one over on Spurs, like would have like at least seemingly tried to win the game. Like they don't have bad players on that team. It's just, man, I think we dodged a bullet with Todibo. And I know he was going up against Spence, and I know that Spence is really fucking fast. But man, Todibo is a terrible defender. He's slower than a whale shit, and he's a terrible defender. They spent a lot of money on him, and thank God we dodged that bullet because we were in on him, man. We were, I think, in on him pretty hard, right?
Yeah. It's it was something. Man, it's just, that's one of those games where one big mistake cost a goal, another big mistake cost a goal, and that's kind of it. Nothing of really.
Let's just pivot to that then. Let's not even talk about this game anymore. We don't have to. It was just a boring game.
You know what? You want something happy? I've got this. This is kind of happy. It's from Vermont Cider Lab.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just found them. They're like right next to Black Flannel in Essex. But this one's pretty good. It's a hard cider with blood orange, maple syrup, rosemary, and sage.
Rosemary and sage. Nice. Wasn't that in a song?
I don't know, maybe. But this
Simon Garfunkel.
Their whole thing is all their drinks are inspired by dogs. So it's, if you like,
they drop a little dog hair in there, just the hair of the dog. You see what I'm saying?
I'm
see what I did there?
If I just like wiped my hand across a surface in this house and just did a little bit of that, I probably would end up with dog hair in there. That thing
Steve,
shredded like
I'm going
crazy.
to tell you, man, I drink more beer in these last 4 days than I probably have all year. Does that make any sense?
No.
No, it doesn't make any sense. You know why it doesn't make any sense? Because that's a lot of fucking beer.
All I could think is, you ever see that South Park where they've got they're doing the Chewbacca defense? This does not make sense.
So yeah, so I was so we went out, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting off the subject here, but we went out in New Orleans. We took one day off of Fest on Friday because there weren't a bunch of like really good bands that I wanted to see. So like we decided to go down to the French Quarter, went down to Magazine Street. First we went to breakfast, and I had two Bloody Marys there. And then, because as you do in New Orleans, and then we went walking up Magazine Street, and they have all these nice. It's kind of Magazine Street's a kind of a high end street with kitschy, fancy kind of antique shops and secondhand clothing shops and that kind of stuff. So we were popping in and out of these shops, and one of the shop fronts had this tub filled with beer on it, and the sign said, "Are you thirsty?" And then it says, "Take one. It's on us."
One tub.
There was a whole tub of beer. So I took a beer. Amy took a High Noon, the vodka drink there, and we just walked a little bit longer. It's like the New Orleans, you can just walk in the streets with beer. On the way back, we grabbed another beer, and I got to have a couple of local New Orleans beers. They were not great, but I drank them. And then we went back and then ended up going out for dinner. Went down to Bourbon Street just so Amy could see it, which is, Bourbon Street kind of touristy and shitty, but it was really it was so awesome because you could just pop bar to bar to bar to bar to bar. You can bring beers in. I drank 17 beers that day.
Damn.
Two Bloody Marys, 2 gin and tonics later on. Yeah. I was drinking this weekend, as you do.
It sounds like it. I mean, honestly, with that, bringing it back full circle with that wet spam game, I kind of wanted to drink.
Yeah, so full circle. Because I wanted to actually get into, do we have a goalkeeping problem? Because he's dude, seriously, he's making a lot of mistakes, man. He's making a lot of mistakes recently, and it's costing us like you couldn't have fit, like a hockey player couldn't have scored a goal at that angle, and he fit that ball right between his legs.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a freak thing. It's his ball handling. Like we can't play out of the back now because for some reason he can't kick the ball with his left foot.
Yeah, he had
I don't get any of it, Steve.
He passed the ball right to an opposition player, and just the guy had a terrible shot. And
it's not the first time either. It keeps happening, and I don't know. It's not just the league either. He's doing it in the Europa competition too. I don't know. Do we have a goalkeeping problem?
I think we just have a defensive issue all around where we're defensively taking unnecessary risks that are putting us under unnecessary pressure. It's something that I saw in the U12 game where they were trying to dribble out the back and would lose possession and lead to a goal scoring opportunity. And you could hear these U12 coaches going, just boot it, just clear it up the line. Like, if you're under pressure, if there's danger, just get rid of the fucking ball. And here we are in the Premier League, and they're still trying to fucking dick around in the back. They've got 3 guys charging Spence down or some shit, and he's trying to just play these 1-2 passes, and it It puts us under pressure. It causes a lot of these guys to make stupid ass decisions. And yeah, I do think it reflects back on Vicario as well, because he ends up making stupid ass decisions under pressure as well. It's to me, that's something that really ought to have been coached out. But for some reason, Ange insists on doing these.
I don't
risky
remember him
things.
having that problem though from the beginning. Are they just pressing harder? Is it our defensive issues? Like I'm sorry, Ben Davis is too fucking old, man. He's too old. He's
It's a
too slow. He's
combination.
too slow to react.
I think a lot of clubs have recognized that, hey, if we just put pressure on them, they'll make a mistake. Yeah, obviously, but instead of changing it, we just keep trying the same shit. The game we had where we were playing those longer balls out from the back, and we're finding ourselves in better scoring opportunities as a result. That's what we should have been doing more of. At the very least, mix it up so it's not so obvious what what the defenders are trying to do. It's just really rough. And this is the tricky thing with goalkeepers too, right? Like with Vicario, part of me wants to just see Kinski rotated in for the league. Give him a break, let Kinski get some experience as well, especially because some of these mistakes. What's the harm in that? But he's not perfect either. He makes some silly mistakes, but of a different nature. Honestly, I think that their skill sets are almost opposite, right? Like if I needed a goalkeeper to come out and claim the ball convincingly, I'd rather it be Kinski than Vicario. But if I wanted somebody to make a reflex save, I think I'd rather Vicario than Kinski. But either way, you're going to get some kind of boneheaded mistakes. On Kinski's side, he's just young, and a lot of that I think he get coached out. Vicario being a little bit on the older side, I think he ought to know better. But again, I do think a lot of that comes down to just management and what Postecoglou wants the squad to be doing. I disagree with him. I think it's a stupid ass way to play when you've been figured out like that. But it's something that's going to continue until he's gone. I do think that a lot of it is just other teams have figured us out. I think that when you've got a lack of confidence, there's a mentality aspect to it as well. It's just a shitty situation for us to be in, and if we don't get the win or at least advance on Thursday, I just don't know what the rest of the season is going to look like. I can't see the players really pulling themselves out of a funk if they go crashing out away from home with a 2-goal cushion. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe they'll show up, they'll play well, and we'll have a final that we can look forward to. But it's not pleasant. It just doesn't look very good right now, especially given injuries to Bergvall and Madison. Hopefully, like I said, I hope Son comes back. I hope he's, ready to go and isn't, rusty and can't really perform at the level we need of him. I will say on a positive note, I do like what Tell and Odegaard bring. I like their tenacity, their speed, their attempts at trying things. I like a lot of that, even if it doesn't always come off. It's different. It's players who are really doing their best to make something happen in a shitty situation. But I do think we need to work on our midfield. I do think that there's something that Ange really needs to put together if he expects us to progress in the Europa League and hopefully inevitably win it. But again, getting ahead of myself a little bit. We got a game to look forward to on Thursday. But before we really, get into that, I do want to ask you, Mike. Hey, Mike, what you drinking?
You know what, Steve?
Is it years out of a
I'm
tub?
prepared. I'm prepared this time. My wife's friend is from Wisconsin,
Wisconsin, huh?
and she was back home, and I said, "Ooh, can you get me there's a couple of different breweries out there that I wanted a beer from. One was Eagle Park. So she got me an Eagle Park sampler pack. I haven't even broken into that yet because we were leaving for New Orleans. So and then she got me this, which is kind of an iconic Wisconsin beer. It's an iconic beer that was like one of the number one beers in the country at in the 2000s. So they still only do bottles. They don't do cans of this. This is called Spotted Cow from New Glarus. Glarus. I have been wanting to have this beer for so long. It's like it's one of the bucket list beers that I've wanted to have, and I'm very excited for it. So
is it made of cheese? I mean, it's Wisconsin, right?
It's not made of cheese, but it's a farmhouse style ale.
Oh, hello.
Farmhouse style ales usually use wild yeasts. They usually have a scent of like banana, bubble gum, and
These are not things I associate with a farmhouse.
Bananas and bubble gum.
Yeah, maybe like chewing tobacco and hay, but
they're generally unfiltered. This doesn't seem like it's unfiltered. It actually kind of looks like a cream ale.
Creamy.
It does. It does have that banana kind of smell to it. I put it in a Belgian beer glass because that was the closest I could get. It's pretty bubbly. This says every drop of Wisconsin's original farmhouse ale is artisan brewed by the hardworking employee owners of New Glarus Brewing, right here in New Glarus, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Oh,
did we learn something about them?
No, it adheres to the German beer purity laws for only using 4 hand-selected all-natural ingredients: yeast, hops, water, and malted barley. Oh, okay. So this beer is bottle conditioned. So they ferment it and then they put it in the bottles and it carbonates on its own. It conditions in the bottle, carbonates on its own. And it's like an aged beer. It smells really good, Steve. But it has more of the appearance of like a like I said, like a cream ale. Let's get into this because I've been wanting to have this for a long time.
You've waited long enough. Let's do it. Let's see what it's like. I probably should have been taking some notes. Notes. Does Brian even read these?
I'm gonna try another one. Try another sip.
Another sip. That's all right. I was just putting some notes in our spreadsheet.
You know what, dude? This beer is really good. It doesn't. So a lot of farmhouse ales kind of have like a sour, kind of malty, overly malty taste to it. You get the sour of the yeast. This beer is really fucking good. They've been making it since like I'd say the early 2000s, maybe. It gives you everything that like there's a little bit of like sweetness. There's like a little bit of lemon in there. Corn, maybe maize. But like it doesn't really have a lot of like bitterness from the hops, so they obviously don't hop it. It's very it's got a spiciness to it too on the back end, but it's got like it's super balanced. You don't get like a burst of flavors one way or the other. It's the same going in as it is going down. I really enjoy this beer. Do you want me to give you Are you ready to go?
I'm ready for you. I've got my guess in. I'm ready to hear yours.
I'm gonna say
Come on. We got this.
4.1.
Oh, I was so close. I went with the 4.0. But you know what? I'm still doing better than Brian, who, let's see, he is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks without a guess. Get on my level, Brian. Still better than Nikki Winks, who has not joined us since December when we started doing this. So I guess he's got that going for him. Get off of that, silly kitty. My cat wanted to be a part of this too. He has to go to the VET in the morning.
You have to spell it out for him. Do you really have to spell it out for him?
You never know. You know, he's a smart little guy here.
It's a cat, Steve.
A smart cat.
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that right? Say hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're gonna show everybody the black cat that you have.
Here he is.
You're the reason. That's the problem. You know, I don't like cats. They put their asshole in your face all the time.
That is true.
You know, and then they go and lick their asshole, and then they get their face near you. They're like,
sometimes they do it right in front of you. They're like,
yeah,
you watching? Check this out. Leg right in the air, just gonna clean my junk right in front of you. But you know what? That is still a better performance than what we've seen out of Spurs for stretches of the season. You got to give me that one at least.
I don't know. I don't know.
How about we look to the future? That's always a fun one. Well, you owe me a player. You thought you could get away with it.
You know what?
Player.
I'm gonna say old school beer. It's classy. Though a lot of people were soured by his move to United. 4.1 out of 5. I'm going to say Berbatov.
Yeah.
You knew I was going there, didn't you? The second I said classy.
Well, the second you said went to United.
Yeah, like, okay. Yeah. I knew I kind of gave it away there, but like I wanted to go with like Ledley, but I think I've already used Ledley, haven't I?
Yes, you have. You used Ledley. He was a 4.4 back in March for Spyglass, object oriented.
Oh yeah,
that was apparently a good one. But hey, Berbatov, that's a good one. A good shout. He was a fun player too, for sure. All right, now we can look ahead. Are we going
to look ahead?
Fuck it. We've been beating around the bush this whole time. Might as well just dive right in, right? We got the second leg of the Europa League semifinal coming up. Away to Norway. They should have some players back for that one from suspension. Can we get the job done? What do you think?
What do I think? I think I'm texting my daughter who just got home to let her know that I'm doing this. So what do you think, Steve?
On whether or not we advance in the
This is not a very professional podcast today. I've been distracted. I'm pissed off about my game of Crash Bandicoot that I can't seem to beat this one level.
I brought my dog in this time. You know, you got to see the cat. Now you get to see the dog.
There you go. All right. Let's break this down.
She's going to the groomer tomorrow.
So yeah, let's get into this game because we do have some injuries.
You want to see her butthole or?
Nope, I do not. We do have some injuries, right? So we don't have any yellow card worries. We don't have the only worry we have is that we're playing in the frozen tundra.
Yeah, but it's fucking May. It's got to be at least okay. It is a turf field, though. I think, right?
It is a turf field. I mean, that's going to play to the. It'll probably play to obviously to the strengths of Bodo because they play there all the time. And their attacking style it is is well adapted from the for the turf. They can utilize speed. They can utilize the ability to take off quickly, to make some of those crisp, incisive runs that they make into the box. I think that if they're able to take advantage of Spurs early on, before Spurs have a chance to shut down and just to just close it down, we could be in trouble here. Spurs could be in trouble. Their season could be effectively ended by then. And don't put anything past this team either to do that, because we do have injuries. Like you said, we have the injuries to James Madison. We have the injury to Bearval. We have the injury to Son. Who the fuck knows if Richie is healthy or not? Who the fuck knows
who had a bit
if Solanke's injured or not? The thing that we do know is that we have at this point a healthy Christian Romero, a healthy Van de Ven. We have a lunatic of a goalkeeper who you don't know if he's going to make a boneheaded mistake or not. This game screams out for somebody like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It really does. It really does. Someone who shouts orders and points a lot and controls the ball when you need him to control the ball, especially at the end of a game. So it screams out for a player like that, and I just don't see it in Bentancur and Bissouma. Either one of them. Bissouma's a little bit better, a little bit more under control when he's under pressure than Bentancur is, but Bentancur can be a little bit more creative out of the back. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna see. I think that I would like to see Brennan Johnson and Tell start, just to be able to utilize a lot of our speed that we have, and maybe put this away early if we can. But we have to have a number 9 up there. That's going to be that's a true number 9. So my guess is that if Bodo takes advantage early, then Spurs could be in some trouble.
Yeah, and I honestly agree with you, and that's the worst part. I don't know what we're going to get. I have to think that the squad is they're not dumb, right? They know what's coming. They know what's expected. They know that this is their big break for the season. The problem that I have is that doesn't seem to make a difference. They have had opportunity after opportunity and they still fucking squander it. So I'm very worried. I'm going to watch this game on Thursday with clenched butt cheeks. Just really fucking have to get myself like a 6-pack or something, or maybe like a full bottle of Maker's Mark and just sit there and slowly drink myself.
Don't waste Maker's Mark on Spurs, dude. Not this season. Don't do it.
Yeah, but I don't want to drink some cheap crap either.
Though that's the history of the club. Like, get something that's like mid-rack. That's Makers. Don't get Makers, dude. Get fucking Jim Beam. You don't have to get the dregs. You don't have to get the dregs, but get like fucking Jim Beam. If you want a whiskey, get some Beam. Maybe add some Coca-Cola to it, or Diet Coke, or a Coke Zero, if that's what tickles your fancy, Steve. It's
that's not something I can go for. Give me all. You know what? Mexican Coke is what I really want. Give me that real sugar Coke.
Yeah, I mean, you can order that on the internet at any time, Steve.
Can I really?
Yeah, man, you can. You don't have to get Mexican Coke. You can order Coke with real sugar on the internet.
God, I love the internet.
Jeff Bezos has made it possible, Steve, to do that.
Jeff Bezos. He's another one. He can just burn in a fire for all I care.
Jeez.
Fucking billionaire asshole.
You're a pessimist today, Steve. I'm in a good mood. I just came back from Fest.
Yeah, you know what? I would be in a good mood. Honestly, I'm not in that bad of a mood. I've got another game I get to referee. I've got fucking 8 that I'm doing this weekend. A little bit of extra money, a lot of exercise. I had a kid, just, not one of the kids from the team, but like a, fucking 7 or 8 year old who came running up to me after the game and he's like, "Can you red card me?" And I just pulled it out of my back pocket and that kid went crazy. It was so funny. Uh,
I feel like I'm going to get a red card at some point from you. So
oh, absolutely you will. It's gotta happen.
I think it would be really funny if you did it to me at halftime of that game you referee for my son.
Just point at you in the stands and
Yeah. That would be super funny.
you know what? It's also kind of funny to me when the kids don't listen to the ref, and I have to sit there and like do the very over the top motions. Like one kid, I told him, wait for the whistle, and he went and played the ball anyway, and I had to look at him and point at the whistle as I was saying it again.
You know what you can do too is like those U10s and U12s. That's good for teaching moments for those kids.
Oh, it really is. The kids were great. They had no issues. They were very respectful and everything. The parents too. I didn't have any issues with unruly parents. Thank
Wait
God.
till you get to U14. The kids get a little more snippy.
Oh yeah. Wow. If Lucas gives me any lip, I'm gonna, have to recommend that the center ref go to his back pocket.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna give you any lip.
We'll see about that. Only time will tell.
I'm gonna be out there yelling like, "What am I paying you for?"
You're not paying me shit. Our finance department took off to fucking Joe Lewis's yacht. I haven't heard from him since.
Well, I mean, that's the life of Dave these days, man.
Life of Dave.
The life of Dave.
Just living on a yacht in the Bahamas.
Yep.
Man, some guys get all the luck.
Some guys have all the luck. All right. Yeah. So let's get into our final statements here.
Final thoughts. Yeah, all right, we can go there. As for mine, it's May. We've got the Vermont Green are starting back up again pretty soon. We've got their preseason kickoff party next week. That should be a good time. I'm gonna bring my son and hope that he doesn't give me a hard time about hanging out with people that he doesn't quite recognize. But I tell that they will have their training kit revealed at this event.
As they do every year, generally, yeah.
Well, I liked their one last year, the training one at least, the zero gravity one. That one.
Oh, the black tie dye.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
I'm looking forward to this. I really kind of hope that they alternate out that fucking 1980s ski kit. That one just doesn't really do it for me. Reminds me of like fucking Double Mint Gum or some shit.
That was the point.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to our local team kicking off. They've got their first game comes up. What? Not this
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yep.
Well, their first home game is Memorial Day weekend, but I thought they had like a game before that.
Oh, they have 2 games before that.
Yeah.
But like those 2 games come in like rapid succession because they're both in Boston. Well, in the Boston area.
Boston. But yeah,
get the Boston teams out of the way early. You don't know what you're not gonna get your final settled team. Yeah, we'll just roll this into my final thoughts too. Let's talk about the local team. The local 11. Yeah. So you're not going to get a settled lineup out of them from the first 2 matches. They were still adding players as of last week, and I think it's finally settled. But I am really excited to see Ayub Lahar after his developmental year in college at UConn. He had a pretty good season. He banged in 5 goals and 7 assists, and in his first full year of college football. So like, and the Big East is no joke to play in. So he's a player who came here from Lebanon when he was really young. He came to Vermont. And we can highlight this because it was for a good cause. He was an immigrant here with his parents. They left a bad situation in the area they're in, a pretty war-torn area in the Middle East. And he was the first in his family to go to college. He went to Brattleboro High School and transferred to a private school, and made the most of his time there. And he's a big kid. He's fast. He is fast as all hell. And I really think that this year it can be the year that he's going to break out. But we have a lot of international players on this team now this year too. So he does have a lot of competition. So I know that he will recognize that. But I think that with the social climate, the way it is in this country right now, to have someone who is an immigrant here, whose family was were immigrants here, I think that can put a big stamp on what Vermont Green is, and how we support the players in this community. And it's not about one thing or another. It's not about how good you are as a player. It's every single player gets a run out there, and every single player deserves, for the crowd to cheer them, and everybody will get those opportunities. I'm really excited though this year about the women's team.
Yes, the women's team. They've got a game on my birthday.
That'll be fun. We got 2 games of the women's team. U.S. women's national team legend, and one time, and she was named best player in the world, best women's player in the world, Sam Mewis. Even though I think overall her sister might have been a little bit better than her, but our very own Vermont's very own Sam Mewis, it will be coaching the team again, and she'll be at the party too. So I'm sure she'll be shaking hands and kissing babies and all that stuff.
Excellent. I'll have to bring mine. He's not really a baby anymore, but it's an excuse, right?
Yeah, it'll be a good function. There'll be some stuff for some fundraising. There'll be some stuff. They're gonna release the new beer this year, and the players will all be there to do meet and greets. They'll be shaking hands. A lot of the new players will be probably very shy, and not know how to deal with this because they're just coming out of college. But like, they're going to come into this and become part of our community. Some of them are shy, some are outgoing, but you get a chance to meet the players, meet the owners. You can meet Tom, the public address announcer. Like, it's going to be an all out, like, fun party to start the season. It's just the kickoff party, man.
Hell yeah. And as always, our maple syrup, it's better than yours.
Yeah. And we'll be showing the Canadians that on Labor Day weekend, or Memorial Day weekend.
I can't wait for the big green wall of people to force fucking ice out when they try showing up for some bullshit. But that's Vermont for you. We show up. We want to protect our community. But yeah, man, I can't believe that we managed to keep ourselves from spiraling into a pessimistic hellhole and made it to the end of a show. I'm impressed with us.
Listen, man, anytime you mention beer, Vermont Green, my family, I'm on board, man. I'll talk about, what, dude, maybe next week, if we don't have anything good to talk about next week, we could talk about Transformers if you want.
Hell yeah.
Like not the shit that you grew up with, the shit that I grew up with, like Transformers, GI Joe. We could talk about the.
G.I. Joe.
I have a Cobra Commander shirt that I wore to the festival. It's got the big Cobra thing right here. It's blue with the red Cobra. Yeah, Amy immediately was like, "Why is there a vagina on your shirt?" And I said, "There's not a vagina on my shirt." I said, "That's Cobra Commander." And then my buddy was like, "Yeah, right where the clitoris is where the teeth in the fangs are." He was like, "That's really telling. That's really telling." And answers a lot of questions I had about you as a child when we were in high school. And it explains a lot about your fear of the vagina. You saw it as a snake, and it was because of GI Joe.
You know what? We've got our second leg on Thursday. We've got Crystal Palace on Sunday. If we don't have anything good to discuss, we might as well just fucking talk about all that shit. Hell, I'll fucking talk Thundercats. I'll talk.
Thundercats, yeah.
We will. We'll make it a good time. It's going to be if we advance in the Europa League, if we beat Crystal Palace, great. We've got a nice, fun time to talk about. If it doesn't happen, you guys can come back and listen to us talk about fucking 80s cartoons and.
Guess what, guys? Wicked Spursy fans, it is going to be a fucking party next week. Party.
Come hell or high water, it is going to be a party.
Yeah. Maybe a hell or high life.
Happy. Look, if it's a miserable week, every fucking podcast is going to be doom and gloom. We might as well be the one who's promising a good time, even if it means we don't talk about Spurs for a week.
We just have to get through the rest of the season with maybe not having Brian on again, because we know that he's a particular coach in right now. So,
you know what? He's got too much going on. He's a busy guy. I'm sure he'll be joining Dave on Joe Lewis's yacht any day now.
I think you're right. He's probably already there. He's on a jet ski out to the yacht.
That's it. Yep. We figured you out, Brian.
Sunglasses on, Cabana shirt, halfway buttoned down,
I will say, though,
on a jet ski.
While we're on the subject, I'm sure in the Bahamas on that yacht, Dave is sitting there and he wants to hear a couple of things. First, he would love it if I gave the classic coys.
What else?
He'd want me to tell people, don't be an asshole. And then he'd say, Mike, what do you got?
Well, Steve, it's that time of year. Got to start mowing the lawn, man. Start mowing the lawn. Grass is too high. You got to watch out for ticks. You got to watch out for I don't know, ticks, really. Ticks. They give you that Lyme disease, and it's not good. So that's my my PSA of the day. And I just want everybody to make sure you go out there and you be safe and protect your mental health.
And
Tottenham Hotspur action. It's fantastic.
Maybe.
There we
go.